My name's Sharon Preston. One of the areas of law that I practice is employment law. Common ways that employers basically rip off their employees. One of the very common ways that it's done is an employer will tell their employee, "You're a salaried employee, so I don't have to pay you overtime." So you'll have an employee that's just maybe either a laborer, a factory worker, a low-level supervisor. They're paid a salary for the month, and they might work 60 hours a week, and then they're not paid overtime for those extra 20 hours. They'll either classify somebody as a manager in a kind of a low-level employee that may supervise one or two employees while also, let's say, serving coffee at a coffee shop. One of the things they do is use a title, but another thing is simply say, "I'm a salaried employee." I've had people come to me that worked in a call center or worked in a factory and said, "Oh, I don't get paid overtime because I'm a salaried employee." The idea that the company sells to them is by simply paying you a salary, $3,000 per month rather than $10 an hour, they don't have to pay you overtime. And that's not the way the law works. The only way that an employer is excused from paying overtime, the employer has to pay the salary, that's one requirement, but the employee's job duties have to also fall within certain categories. There's an executive exemption. But being an executive means you're a high-level manager and supervise employees. Another is professionals, which is like CPAs, doctors, lawyers, people who have a lot of education and are typically licensed. A third category where they don't have to pay overtime, and this one's abused a lot, it's called the administrative exemption. The administrative exemption is basically somebody who doesn't do manual labor, so it's kind of an office type job. And on top of that, the employee has to be involved in independent decision making in matters that actually are significant in the company. Not things like where to file stuff or who to call or when to turn the lights off and on. Not things like that. Significant matters like maybe hiring and firing employees, budget matters, so significant discretionary decision making. In other words, they're not simply being told what to do. A low-level line supervisor rarely is exempt from overtime. The decisions they make are guided from above. They don't get to use their own judgment and discretion about making important decisions for the company. Basically, if you're not being paid overtime and you recognize that you're not a high-level manager or you're not making important decisions for the company, the best thing you could do is talk to a lawyer that's experienced in these matters so that lawyer can help you figure out whether you're owed overtime.